After all, it must be incredibly shocking for someone to fully master the heavenly guard in a single night. It's quite unlikely for someone to be that formidable. What is there to understand? If we're talking about being deep, then my lady should also be on the same boat. Right. The daytime is long. When will the good nights come? Why, are you that anxious to get back to the matriarch's side? Don't blame me for not warning you. The great elder will do you in at any time. You'd better not foolishly wander around outside. You'd better be a good boy and stick to the master like glue. I'm just the matriarch's manservant. How could I possibly pester her all day? Huh? My lady, could it be that you're jealous? You can't possibly believe that I have that kind of relationship with the matriarch, right? I've been falsely accused. There's nothing going on between the matriarch and me. I'm completely innocent. You're my one and only true love in this life. What a glib tongue you have. But with my dear's current condition, I'm afraid you're only all bark and no bite. This punk is getting smarter and smarter as of late. He's not as gullible as he used to be. Shouldn't my lady know my tongue best? How could you say I'm all bark and no bite? This girl wants to deceive me? Does she take me for a blockhead, just like the original owner? Chin Chinsi is right. Right now, my strength is not enough to contend with the great elder. The matriarch is my biggest coattail. Now that I have a decent amount of origin points, I can upgrade the Finger of Nirvana. My best bet right now is to completely heal the matriarch's injuries. So expensive. It took 140 to upgrade the Finger of Origin Points Nirvana to level 3. And looking at the description, it doesn't seem that much has changed. I have no idea if this is enough to heal the matriarch, so why don't I upgrade it once more? I have more than 500 origin points left, and it's still not enough? Just how many of them are needed to upgrade the Finger of Nirvana to level 4? I'm going to give it a try whether the Finger of Nirvana at level 3 can heal the matriarch or not. But I can't be hasty about it. The time lapse between those worlds and the main world is different. For the matriarch, I just left a moment ago. I just came out a moment ago. It would be too much of an overstatement if I returned right now and said I had found a way to heal her. I'd better postpone it for a day or two, and then make up an excuse that the sect founder came to me in my dreams and furthered my knowledge of the Finger of Nirvana before I go to her. With so many origin points on hand, what's most important right now is to turn them into actual strength. Is this the elder who's in charge of guarding this sutra pavilion, and is second only to the sect master and the 4 great elders? He looks a little bit pocket-sized. Well met, elder. It seems that the sect master looks upon you with high regard. This is the highest level cultivation token. You can choose the most precious innate realm skills in the sect. The more than 100 martial arts books you see here are the sect's most prized collection. From the acquired realm up to the innate realm, you'll lack nothing. As long as it's a skill I can understand, I can record it in the system by looking at it once. There are so many martial arts books here. My efforts have finally paid off. With the system in hand, not only will I bag all of the secret skills in the Sutra Pavilion, but I'll also perhaps come across some unexpected joy. Isn't this how it usually goes in sexual fantasy novels? What's this little brat thinking? Laughing silly like that. This is the Marching Sect's secret ledger. It contains a record of the names and a brief introduction of all the skills in the sect. Now, hurry up and choose. Can I go through these classics with my own hands? The information I can glean from only looking at the introduction is limited. There's no way for me to find a suitable skill for myself. That used to be the case, but it hasn't been possible since when Tingyun, the 48th sect master, secretly learned all the skills in the pavilion with his extraordinary knack for memory retention. I don't think a little punk like you is very honest. I won't give you any opportunities for any sleights of hand. You can only choose them from here. Fine. What a crafty old fox. Still, what's up with that one, Tingyun? Why didn't you secretly have fun and be done with it? Why did you have to spread the word around and ruin the younger generation's prospects? I'm going to practice the strongest martial arts, and since there's innate realm skills here, I won't pick any of the ones for the acquired realm. The Maiden Scripture is the main canon of the sect. When practiced to the extreme, not only can one freely change between immortal and demonic cultivation, but it also allows its practitioner to maintain their youthful appearance. And the more you practice it, the more beautiful you will be. The matriarch should be practicing this one. Unfortunately, It can only be practiced by women, so it has nothing to do with me. The secret of joy technique is also a skill that can only be practiced by women. Its practitioners can not only follow the way of the taking of life force, but also the way of wickedness and virtue, to constantly hone their sexuality by utilizing their appearance of a loose bitch, yet at the same time maintain their body lofty and unsullied. Qin Shinsi was supposed to be the latter, but then she met me. Alas, I'm such a handsome, vibrant, and sinful man. Wen Tingyan? Wasn't this the guy who paraded his extraordinary knack for memory retention all over the place? I didn't expect that out of all the past generations of sect masters, he was the only one who was male, and also came up with an innate skill by himself. The finger of flowery swords. With this skill, a person can use their fingers to shoot sword energy at their foes whilst in combat. This is exactly the attack class martial art that I've been sorely lacking. Say, isn't this attack method similar to the 6 miles holy sword? The finger of flowery swords, created by Wen Tingjun, the 48th sect master. The practitioner must be an elegant and handsome man, otherwise please don't hurt yourself. This skill was tailor-made for me. Perfect, this is the one. Oh? The finger of flowery swords? Yes, looking at your profile, I'd say that you're qualified to practice it. If I'm not a fit for it, then none of the male disciples in the whole sect are. The finger of flowery swords is not only a cultivation method for improving internal strength, but also a fingering and sword technique to wound and kill an enemy. One might as well say that it's a collection of 10 martial arts in a single book. However, there are some troublesome bits in the basics of this martial art. You need to be in the company of beauties all day, be romantic but not obscene, be passionate but not abusive. Only when the innate energy in the body is stained with the smell of young beauties, transforms into flowery energy, and the fingers are compelled to expel a sword tip-like essence, will the basics be learned. But to be with beauties all day long, there's only so much time I can meet with the matriarch every day, so there's no point in thinking about her. Qin Shinsi would do, but she's a very dangerous woman, and she's really not all that fond of me. Shuyiner hates me to the bone, and the other girls in the sect are also avoiding me because I offended the great elder. It's written in the manuscript that there should be at least 5 beauties, but the more the better. Don't tell me I'll have to hook up with girls from other sects? The next day. Your finger of nirvana today seems to be quite different from before. My injuries are healing at an astonishing rate. My innate energy is full and overflowing. I even collapsed the bed by accident. How could my injuries have been completely healed? In only 2 days, your finger of nirvana has progressed to the point of completely healing me. Is it possible that you lied to me last time? Sisyu, how could you say such a thing? These last few nights, the sect founder appeared in my dreams and instructed me on how to level up the finger of nirvana. Do you see these black circles around my eyes? I haven't slept for several days. Fortunately, the finger of nirvana at level 3 worked, otherwise it would have been troublesome. It really does seem that you went through a great deal of hardship. Fortunately, you were blessed by the sect founder. I'm in high spirits today. Speak, what other rewards do you desire? Sisyu, I haven't the slightest clue how to practice this martial art. I would like to ask you for some advice. Oh? The finger of flowery swords? You really did choose this martial art. It's not very easy to get started on this martial art. Actually, there's a very suitable place for you to practice this martial art. This is the place the third elder runs in the nearby city of Jianling. Is this the brothel run by the third elder, the I Ching establishment? It's told that an artist doesn't sell his own body but his craft. Yet when I look at that name it doesn't seem like it. The third elder has always been neutral within the sect, therefore she won't make your life difficult because of the hostilities between you and the great elder. And you're of great use to the third elder, so if you practice there, she'll probably lend you a hand. I'm of great use to the third elder. What kind of great use? I'm not in a position to reveal that. You'd better go see it for yourself. I have a very bad feeling about this. Now the only thing to worry about is the great elder. If she disregards her status and lays her hands on you, the outside of the sect is beyond my influence, so I won't be able to help. For that I have a way. You have a way? I wrote a new book. No, wait. I looked into a book that's being handed down on the market recently called Tears on a Beautiful Face Lesbians. It tells the story about a heartless master who has a taboo love for her female apprentice. In her heart, she regards her as a queen and hopes to be mercilessly stepped on by her. It's an utterly vicious book. You revealed your identity in the ending of the last volume of The Young Married Woman Shinsi. How dare you come up with a new book? Sis, you finished reading it? Ahem. Of course not. I don't read such decadent writing. I just so happened to overhear some friends mentioning it. Naturally, I'm convinced that some villain must have planted the so-called made by Xie Yan in the book to set you up. Exactly. This time, the author is a guy called Deja Vu. They even say that this Deja Vu may be Ji Yuntao from the upright Taishan sect. I've been hearing for a long time that he's a handsome and elegant man. I don't know how many girls have fallen for him, but I never thought he was such a pretentious hypocrite. However, other people's rumors have said that it was Taoist nun Hongling from Jiliduan who took up such a name to conceal her identity. As expected, she's a vixen from a demonic sect who lives by taking life force. She has no sense of shame. Matriarch, aren't you a member of a demonic sect too? Yet it's also told that the booklets began circulating from the towns neighboring the Buddhist Temple of Heaven. So those nuns were all a bunch of whores all along. A few days after the matriarch came to know about it, a pornographic book, The Tears on a Beautiful Face Lesbians, began being handed down in the areas neighboring the Taishan sect, Jiliduan and the Buddhist Temple of Heaven. Soon afterwards, the book began spreading in the Maching sect. Because of the exceedingly obvious illusion of the content, the great elder, in a fit of rage, drew her sword and left the sect, threatening she could only vent out her hatred after cutting down the one called Deja Vu. Yet the one who she wants to cut down is Deja Vu, so what does he have to do with me? Not bad. This is indeed a wonderful place to practice the finger of flowery swords. So you're Xie Yan? The matriarch sent me a letter to inform me of your request. At first, for such a trivial matter, I would have just sent a few servants to deal with it. Third elder of the Maching sect, Yu Xuanji. However, I'm somewhat curious about you, so I specially called you for us to meet. As expected, your handsomeness is quite exceptional. It's just that you don't seem to be an eunuch as the rumors say. Do not hesitate to deceive the whole sect and to protect you. Has the matriarch's desire for love begun to sprout? The third elder must be joking. I know my own limitations. Even though I'm as noble as a dragon and as handsome as a phoenix, I haven't been able to make the matriarch fall for me. As an elder, she's quite remarkable. She could easily figure out with a single glance that little Xie Yan is still here. She must know a lot about men. Her every move is overflowing with charm, stirring a person's heart. I've heard she practices the secret of joy technique. It seems that she has a much greater knack for it than Qin Xinxi. Indeed, you have a clear understanding of yourself. I have always been neutral within the sect, so I will not be partial to the great elder, nor will I swing in the matriarch's way. If you want to stay in this establishment, you have to agree to one condition. What's your condition? I seem to recall that the matriarch said that I'd be of great use for her, but she didn't go into any details. Wait a minute. She practices the secret of joy technique, while I, the young master, have a virtuous body and am this good-looking to boot. Could that be what she wants? Don't come. Scream. Scream all you want, but no one's going to save you. Wake up, stop speculating on your own. My first lineal disciple practices a lower-level skill in the same category as the secret of joy technique, the mantra of heartlessness. The way to practice this skill is to clash with men in the field of sexuality. Provided we outdo our opponent in this clash, and plant feelings in their hearts, we can rapidly improve our cultivation. Externally, you have a godly appearance. Internally, you harbor a virtuous body. You are a man among men and the best of them all. As long as any of my disciples can plant feelings in your heart, you'll be worth more than 100 men. I was considering what the condition might be, and it turned out to only be this. I accept. Are you aware what will happen if you fail in this clash, and become the person who's been planted with feelings in his heart? I'm well aware. The body and soul of the person who has the feelings planted in his heart will be reduced to a mere slave of the one who planted them, and will respond to his every beck and call and grant his every plea. You already knew this? And you still accept it? Have I ever lost in a clash regarding feelings with a woman before? All the times I barely managed to escape with my life was because of my peerless handsomeness. From the beginning, it has always been women licking my boots, and it's not now that I'm going to start the habit of licking theirs. What's more, Third elder, you're exceedingly beautiful, enough to cause the fall of a state, and your disciples must also be quite the beauties themselves. If one were to clash with them and lose, let alone being reduced to a love-struck fool, wouldn't death be preferable? If it were an expert like you coming out personally, I might have some reservations, but if it's only your disciples, a bunch of clumsy newbies, I don't give a shit. Good, you're really admirable. No wonder you chose the finger of flowery swords. Everyone, come out. Young Lord Xie. Please enlighten us. Mrs., please enlighten me too. Oh my, so many of them. Did they call all the girls in the building here? But this is also fine. My finger of flowery swords needs the energy of a huge number of beauties, and the more of them, the better. For the next few days, I clashed together with these younger and older misses in the field of love. Contrary to my expectations, under the wing of an expert like the third elder, these disciples didn't behave like novices, but as proper artists. What's up with the third elder's tastes? Why are they so similar to the matriarchs? A few days later. Dear Xie, I'll miss you. Although the cowherd and the weaving maid are separated by the Milky Way, they can meet each other once a year. Dear Xie, we'll see each other again. I'll never forget these past few days I spent with Dear Xie for my entire life. I don't want to be apart from Dear Xie. Haha, he's indeed worthy of being called a man who's practicing the finger of flowery swords. All that flirting in his heart isn't even aroused in the slightest. The more difficult a man is to conquer, the deeper the feelings planted when they are, and the better the result. It's a pity that there are too many of us, and can only take a turn once a week. These bunch of girls have some skills. To my surprise, they even know the principle of not trying to win someone over with their beauty for long periods of time, and opted for the moving someone with affection approach. I only fear that if I fall into their trap, the feelings will become deep-rooted and it'll be hard to get myself out of it. Too bad for them. I've learned quite a bit from the countless girls in my previous life. I can easily tell at a glance if a girl is sincere or not. Their advances are to no avail on me. What I want is to collect the energy from these beauties, not to have some bullshit feelings planted on me. It is clear that I've always been together with countless beauties every day, so why is the skill making such slow progress? If things keep going like this, when will I reach the introductory level? According to the manuscript, if you want to practice the finger of flowery swords, being a peerless beauty is only a stepping stone for success. Only when women wholeheartedly love the practitioner, and follow him of their own accord, can they produce the energy suitable for cultivation. And only when the practitioner has a large number of beauties admiring him by his side, indulging in his voice and countenance to their heart's content, can they absorb enough rich energy to allow the finger of flowery swords to reach the introductory level. These days, even though I'm in the company of beauties all day long, I'm not having a good time in the slightest. It's more like we're having a duel with concealed swords. And each of their honeyed words are like the thrust of a spear. And every trace of love is a stab in the back. At this rate, who knows when I'll reach the introductory level? I won't have to stay in this brothel my entire life if I can't do it, will I? Since my face alone is not enough, I have to think of another way to make these girls fall for me. If my face won't do, then I can only rely on my talents. I'll use all those Tang and Song dynasty poems under my belt as my entry ticket. No, that won't work. These girls study the literary arts, and are proficient in all kinds of poems, songs, ditties and odes. Against them, it would be like giving the game away. Now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I could use my finger to send them into a world of pure bliss. A few days later. What are you doing here? The third elder asked me to attend to young Lord Xie. You'd better give it up. You have such a plain appearance. Even we can't handle young Lord Xie and you think you can? You're just wasting your time. Tonight the Plum Blossom Boat Festival is going to be jointly held by our I Ching establishment and the Yinyu County Hall, and several elder sisters will be taking part in it. So the third elder asked me to look after the young lord. So that's how it is. Younger sister, you're going to be spending time alone with young Lord Xie, pitting yourself against him. So you must seize the opportunity, you hear? Who knows? Maybe the young lord will take a bit of a liking to you. Ha ha. Young Lord Xie, I'll be the one waiting upon you today. Miss, you look quite unfamiliar. Is this our first meeting? Hey, this is my chance. I can take advantage of this to run into his embrace. Girl, are you alright? You seem to be preoccupied. Is there something on your mind? It's rare for a martial artist to be so clumsy. Wah. Why are you crying? Did someone pick on you? I really want to take part in the boat festival tonight, but I'm not as beautiful as the others are. Even the Guqin, the only thing I'm good at, is completely unoriginal and in no way better than my sister's gracefulness, so I'm not worthy of participating in the boat festival. Looking at your facial features, it's just that the inner line of the outer tip of your eyebrows was pulled back a few cm too much, which led to a somewhat poor appearance. What's more, you don't appear all that different from them. In fact, you're better suited to be the heroine, rather than such a delicate little girl. But it's too bad that the current you is such a flawed piece of precious jade. What a pity! Then what should I do? Actually, I have a way to shave off your blemishes and brush off the grime covering you. With it, not only can you take part in the Plum Blossom Boat Festival tonight, but you'll also be able to shine more vividly than all the other overwhelming beauties. That's Lady Chi Lu from the I Ching establishment. As expected, the music was so melodious and her voice so mellow. Her singing is beautiful, and she is even more so. Every year, the Flower Boat Festival is jointly held by the I Ching establishment and the Yinyu County Hall, along with all the brothels in the city of Jiangling, to allow their girls to ride in the flower boats across the arch bridge and show off their talents at the same time. If the people on the bridge have someone among the beauties who they especially admire, and want to elect them as the Queen of Flowers, they can buy baskets fitted with pink petals to offer to them. I thank you all! At the end of the festival, whoever obtains the most petals will be worthy of the title of Queen of Flowers of the city of Jiangling. It's Lady Ming Tang. As expected, Lady Ming Tang's dance moves me even more. Lady Ming Tang, I love you, you're my waifu. Huh, aren't you the guy who just called Chi Lu his waifu? Why did you have such a sudden change of heart? Don't mind those small details. Tonight's trip was really worthwhile. As expected, these beautiful women are indeed noble and worthy of praise. Above all is the I Ching establishment. It just feels like that if their girls didn't exist. The four arts wouldn't either. It seems that the Queen of Flowers is going to be awarded to the I Ching establishment. We just don't know whether it will be Lady Chi Lu or Ming Tang. What do you want? We're all disciples of a demonic sect, and now that we've caught you, a inspiring, inviolable and righteous lady, what do you think we're going to do? I, Xie Daoyuan, am a follower of righteousness, and vow to not live under the same sky as a bunch of demons like you. I shall never allow you to touch a single strand of my hair. Xie Daoyuan, isn't that the descendant of the Buddhist Xinjai, the most long-standing righteous inheritance of the Han Empire? She's the most outstanding righteous practitioner genius of the younger generation. She's killed who knows how many demonic sect disciples. How could she have been caught? Are you guys blind? It's clear this woman is a lead actress from the Yinyu County Hall, the very best one. I recognize her now, it's really her, but what is she doing? Is she acting out a play? Do you still take yourself as holy and pure, Miss Righteous? Now that your cultivation is crippled, you can only let us, demonic disciples, do as we please. Save me, isn't there a young chivalrous knight who can save me? Scream, scream all you want but no one's going to save you. Come back, don't go. I really want to know how it ends. Isn't it petals that you want? I'll give them all to you if you come back. How shameless, your county hall actually used such an underhanded trick. Acting out a play is also a kind of talent. We're still having a fair competition, and the visitors are enjoying it. Master of the Yinyu County Hall, Elder from the Blissful Temple, by Siyuan. At the back of the Yinyu County Hall stands the Blissful Temple, which is in no way inferior in power to the Maching sect. These bunch of Taoist nuns practice the Yinyu double cultivation method, so they are very open-minded and in many cases more popular with men. I've carefully mentored Chi Luo and Meng Tang. I thought I could beat her this time, but I didn't expect that she still had such a trick up her sleeve. What's that sound? It seems to be a zither? All of the famous beauties in Jiangling have already showed up. Who's playing it? Is that Xie Yan? The sunset rays leave the sleeves of my dress. Passing by the people on the flower boat reminds me of the beauty of my hometown. I was skilled with my sword, and good with my fists. It was common for me to brave danger. I met a beauty south of the Yangtze River, made love and pledged my undying love, but my passion itself wasn't willing to give up the world. So I mercilessly cut down our relationship like a sword. My troubled youth only left me with a scar. But my spirit will never grow old and the tune of my zither will go on. I only want to come and go freely as a man and not as a chivalrous knight. Buy me 50 kilograms of flowers and scatter them for me. I didn't get about half of that song, but it has a unique charm. What kind of song was that? I've never heard such a strange and pleasant tune before. Is that young man in white an immortal banished from the heavens? Why does he look as elegant and bright as the moon? If that young man is a banished immortal, then that girl with a mask on her face must be a sword immortal. Her sword dance was as graceful as a flying swan and as refined as a roaming dragon. Well met, ladies and gentlemen. This is young Lord Xie Yan. The song you just heard is called Not as a Chivalrous Knight, and was specially written by HM for myself. As for my maiden name, it's Meng Qinglian. Wow, so beautiful, she's indeed worthy of being called a sword immortal. What's even more impressive is that her eyebrows are as dashing as those of a hero. Her eyes shine as though they were stars. Her manner is neither bewitching nor seductive, but only natural and dignified, and hasn't the slightest trace of the pretentious and pampered attitude of other women. I've never seen a woman with such a valiant and heroic bearing. Now that I saw dear Sia today, there's no room in my eyes for other men. Looking at him was the biggest mistake in my whole life. At first, I thought the show I had prepared was unexpected enough, but I didn't imagine that you actually had such a couple lying in store. You may not believe it, but that woman's real name is Ming Xiaohua, and she is the most ordinary girl in my establishment. Bullshit, you Xuanji, you actually dare to humiliate me like this? I'll never forget what happened today. I'll be sure to pay you back. I didn't humiliate you, she really is the most ordinary girl in my establishment. But how did she become so beautiful, and why did she change her name to Meng Qinglian? The beauties of the Maqing sect are so noble, there's no way I could allow the Yunnan County Hall, an underling of the Blissful Temple, to get the better of us. I wonder if this gift is to your satisfaction, Third Elder? You did all of this? Was it you who wrote that performance just now, and is it also because of you that Meng Xiao's appearance changed so much? How on earth did you do it? My finger of nirvana can heal all kinds of wounds instantaneously, and although my sword finger is still weak and hasn't reached the introductory level yet, it's still sharp enough to be used as a scalpel. With the two of them combined, I can completely imitate South Korea's plastic surgery, which is one of the 4 modern-day magic arts in Asia. Add into the most popular ancient songs enjoyed by hundreds of millions of people, as well as a sword dance which integrates elements from popular dances, and you end up with something quite mundane. But in an ancient world like this, which lacks the pop from the entertainment industry, wouldn't it astonish the whole audience? Now all the girls within this building are finally within my grasp. Thank you very much, young lord. What are you doing that for? Stand up. Young master is extremely skilled. He reshaped my appearance, taught me that sword dance, and made my name famous throughout Jiangling. Your kindness gave me a new lease on life, Qinglian. Shall never forget this for my whole life. South Korea's face-lifting is indeed a weapon of mass destruction, enough to make a girl feel lost and desperate. And so, all the girls in the building went crazy one after another, abandoning their reserve, wanting me to check up on their bodies, the flaws on their faces. There are also those who come to me to ask for advice on music and dancing, hoping that I, the great master of both of them, can tailor a tune fit for them. When beauties seek for me, naturally I can't be insensitive. Fortunately, I came from the information age, and have seen countless celebrities, with aesthetics much higher than what the girls of this world could possibly fathom. As such, several old-fashioned beauties with a mix of modern elements were born, and I created tunes and dances in line with their temperament for each of them. Because of this, the girls have even begun to address me as Master Xie. We servants greet Master Xie. In this way, for the following month, I've been comfortably practicing in the I Ching establishment, writing and composing songs for the girls, and giving counsel to the Third Elder. It didn't take long for the I Ching establishment to overwhelm the Yinyu County Hall, for my reputation to begin to spread throughout Jiangling, to become the object of the wet dreams of numerous maidens, and to gain a heap of origin points from all the admiration and worship. On your guard. After so many days of hard work, the finger of flowery swords has finally reached the introductory level, however. Because the innate energy in my body has been transformed into flowery energy, not only did my realm not advance, it receded. But this is fine. The first layer of the acquired realm with the flowery energy, and the third layer with the previous inferior quality innate energy are about the same. Moreover, my heavenly guard has become even more powerful than before now that it's being driven by the flowery energy. Someone there? I heard that Master Xie is leaving. The reason I came here was to practice the finger of flowery swords. Now that I have not only practiced it, but also came to know your sisters, it's time to go back. But I still haven't had time to repay Master Xie yet. Could it be that we sisters aren't good enough? Why is Master Xie so determined to leave? What's up with this situation? Don't tell me this girl is infatuated with me? This isn't good. If she can't restrain her feelings and devotes her life to me later, things will take a bad turn, be it before or after the crossing. I made a commitment to keep my hands clean. What happened with that bitch Qin Xinxi wasn't my fault. However, the skill of refusing a girl who throws herself into my arms is a technique I'm quite proficient in. I can't lose the style of an extremely beautiful man, nor can I brush away her honor. Ahem, people have joys and sorrows, partings and reunions. The moon may dim or shine, wax or wane. Nothing is perfect. This has gone on since time immemorial. Silly child, when living life in this world, to go suddenly on a long journey and leaving another side is inevitable. Would that we could live a long life and together share the moonlight even though far apart. So that even if we were separated by the numerous mountains and streams, we would all at least be under the same moon, basking in the same moonlight. Would that we could live a long life and together share the moonlight. According to my experience of being a man who barely escaped death, if you want to chop off an artistic girl's idea of lust for my body, just pour in a few random words into the scheme of a proper poem. Master Xie is right. It was I who was losing sight of everything. People with a free and natural character such as Master Xie are just like the moon. Their moonlight should be scattered to all the people in the world to deliver them salvation. I shouldn't be so selfish as to vainly attempt to make Master Xie dote on me alone. I'll definitely do my best to devote myself to spiritual practice so as to better myself. Then I'll come together with all my sisters in the establishment to serve Master Xie. As long as you understand, it's fine. Stay away, don't ever come. By the way, Master Xie, the poem you recited just now isn't complete. Indeed, I'll now recite to you the full poem. Consider this as my parting gift for you. Master Xie's finger of flowery swords has reached the introductory level. He will soon return to the sect. I can't wait any longer. Tonight is my last chance. I have to make sure to gobble up Master Xie. Why are you here? You vampish wench. I can't believe you had the gall to intrude on Master Xie's quarters during the night. How shameless. Aren't you scolding yourself? Don't tell me you're here to admire the full moon when you came to Master Xie's door this late. Bring it on. Only the one who prevails can enter Master Xie's quarters tonight. Wait a moment, what's that noise? Master Xie is mine. Nonsense. Master Xie belongs to everyone. Don't push, we'll line up one by one. Or, we could all go together. We should follow the other's example. Right. An idol group? Yes, there are millions of different people in the world and each one of them have their particular tastes. Some people like the pure, some like the wild, some like the delicate, some like the heroic. The women of this establishment have all their differing styles, so it'd be better to combine them to form an idol group, called Demon Girls 48. These 48 kinds of women would be enough to scoop up all the men in the world in one go. Though I have no idea if this world will be able to develop an idol culture. How large is your brain for it to harbor so many wonderful ideas? Why don't you just not return to the sect? If you stay here, you can pick any of the beauties in the building you desire. Anyone. Absolutely not. If you want to build up an idol culture, you have to turn the girls into the most perfect goddesses in the eyes of men. It's taboo for the goddesses to get close with them. Demon Girls 48 is just getting started. It's only proper that I should avoid arousing suspicion all the more. With all the girls in the building and you, the expert, here as well, if I stay behind, I'll sooner or later be reduced to garbage. You're right, given the circumstances, I can hardly impose on you. But in return for what you did these past few days, I'll tell you a bit of news. Great Elder Wu Lingxian came looking for me. What does she mean? Don't tell me she's going to do something to me. Don't be nervous, I've held back anything concerning you. Wu Lingxian just came to me to try to persuade me to join her faction and rise in revolt against the matriarch. Then what are you trying to get at, Third Elder? By telling me this intel, it's incredibly likely that this old hag is hinting that she's going to shut me up for good if I don't stand on their side. I told Wu Lingxian that I wouldn't take part in her struggle with the matriarch. I don't think you should go back. If you return, it's hard to say if your life will be guaranteed. You're very talented and I greatly admire you. If you stay in my establishment, not only will you be accompanied by beautiful women, but Wu Lingxian will also show consideration for me and not take any actions against you. In a few years, you'll surely become a wonderful person and reach a cultivation level just like Sect Master Wen. What do you say? The Third Elder truly values me. Could it be because of this set of bones and a few other skills not worth mentioning? I think if it was the late Sect Master Wen, be it this time or place, he would have made the same decision. Third Elder, most likely, in your heart, you already knew the answer. He's such an interesting and wonderful person that even I am starting to show a bit of affection for him. I hope he can survive from Wu Lingxian's onslaught. I Ching Establishment. Master Xie, my sisters and I have prepared drinks in the legendary library pavilion, and would like to invite you to drink with us and admire the full moon. We wonder if you have the time tonight? Master Xie, The Jiangling Lantern Festival is tomorrow. I'd like to invite you. I greatly appreciate your kindness from the bottom of my heart, but I've asked the third elder to leave today and will be setting out from the establishment soon. Master Xie is leaving? Is it because we didn't take good care of Master Xie? With Master Xie gone, what are we to do? I came to Jiangling as a guest. I thank you ladies for the care you've shown me in these last few days. Now it's time for me to return to the sect. Master Xie, you're leaving. The scenery in Jiangling is so beautiful, and with us to accompany you, you'll never get lonely. Master Xie, wouldn't it be much more enjoyable staying with us and keeping us mortals company? It's better to forget others and seek out a better life than to stick together and face untold hardships. When living life in this world, there will always be some regrets. I hope you ladies will take good care of yourselves. In the beginning, I just wanted to secretly depart in the dead of night, but who knew that at the ferry crossing? To my surprise, Meng Qinglian and the newly formed idols troupe were waiting there to see me off. Master Xie, other than today, I don't know when I'll be able to see you again, so I asked all of my sisters to bid you farewell on your journey. Where will I be when I wake up tonight? I'm afraid I'll be on a willow bark, facing the cold morning wind and the wearing moon of dawn. Since ancient times, the saddest thing for lovers is parting, and even more when it's in the bleak of autumn. How's one to endure? After the years have gone past, even if the weather and scenery were to become more lively, it'll still be just as via. Even if I'm filled with love, who can I share it with? One by one, these girls actually became quite infatuated with me. It's hard to predict what will be lying in store for me when I return to the sect, and the third elder's proposal was indeed really exciting. It even made me consider staying in this land of warmth and tenderness. However, the matriarch has shown me favor, and it'd be much too dull for me to only run away this time. Besides, the matriarch has already recovered. I'll feel more optimistic in this game with the great elder with her around. In this trip to Jiangling, not only did I make waves, but I also gained a big lump of origin points, and reached the introductory level of the finger of flowery swords without a hitch. When I leave Jiangling, I'd better find a remote location outside the city to upgrade it. When I was still in the I Ching establishment, I didn't dare to casually upgrade it. The matriarch might believe me if I told her the sect founder appeared in my dreams again, but the third elder most likely wouldn't.